Hello again, beautiful shining stars. So this is actually the exercise. So on this one, if you saw the last one, we connected with three major archangels, three major angels, because they're not all archangels. Okay, and I want to share this just in case you want to take a snap of it for you to print out your cards if you want. Even though I might add them to the printable. But I want you to be able to do this. So you could totally look for your own, and I'm not showing you mine, but you could Google angel tarot cards and you will find these beautiful angels and you will find your beautiful angels and you could do more intensive research. The reason I'm not showing you mine is because I don't want you to get it because you saw that I have it. With the angels, everything is about synchronicity, allowing, and flowing. And you could probably go to a Barnes and Nobles or a Book a Million or a bookstore and go into the section where they have spiritual stuff, and you might come across some angel cards. They don't always necessarily have to be these. Yes, these are the angels that we are working in this class because I gave you your three archangels. So with that being said, those angels represent like your purpose, because they shared that with you so you could have those conversations. But we are going to connect with these beautiful angels in this video, and we're going to ask for some signs and messages and encouragement and creation and dreams. And like I shared in the last video, how to decipher your dreams is as simple as Googling, seeing what matches and synchronizes with your life and what you're going through. Sometimes it could be messages from friends, like who was in the dream, what were they doing? Because like I said, my dream, it was my husband and my son. My son is also very sensitive in the stomach and he doesn't do well for stress. So I feel that that's like a major thing. So I have to kind of work and make sure that my home is very positive. I have to cleanse and clear my kitchen to make sure that we don't get sick. And I think that that's what I did. I feel like I ate something that maybe wasn't clean or might have something that whatever the fuck that made me super sick. And that is a reason while I know that I need to clean my kitchen and just, go above and beyond and get Lysol and get, alcohol and just constantly be cleansing and clearing. Because now, like I said, I have a new energy in my house and I don't know what is or isn't. So the Five of Cups, which is the beautiful angel that we showed you, it's about prosperity, about clearing the blocks. And something that we didn't do in the last video, I put the book away, was see what her energy was. So we're gonna do that really quick. Here we go. So this beautiful angel's energy is grieving, disillusion, disappointment, betrayal, bitterness, wallowing, self-pity. This can signify a broken heart. So if you're going through anything, it doesn't have to be romantically. I know a lot of you guys are going through heartbreak, but this is not just romantically. This could be anything. Now, the shadow side of it is not letting go of past trauma. So this angel's coming really strong so you could stop crying over spilled milk. Stop rooting deeply. It says rooting deeply into shadow work without healing and letting go. Old stories that become a part of you, calluses become jaded. So I feel like this angel, and it's so funny that I had the dream, like I said, it talks about illness. And if we look at this card, pairing it with the angel, she also talks about clearing a subconscious, because sometimes, and I tell you this because this happens to me all the time, sometimes I'll do shadow work or I'll get into my manifesting and we'll go into like an area and something really old from like my childhood comes up and I'm like, oh, I thought I let this go, or I thought this wasn't a part of me. And it turns out that it is. It turns out that it's still embedded, and I have to go back into that childhood, go back into that scenario, go into the emotions, the energies, decipher it, um share, purge, go through emotional roller coaster until I get to the point that I release and let go. And I even re-script it. Like I'll go back, especially if it's like part of my childhood, I'll talk to myself and I send myself a love letter, or I'll physically, ethereally, which I talked in one of my classes, go into that energy and really help myself decipher what I'm going through. Now, this beautiful angel also works with prosperity, and it helps destroy the enemies and the deliverance of bondage. So it clears you from your own mind prisons and also from the prisons of other. Like, are you a prisoner to your romance life that's sabotaging you? Are you a prisoner in your job that's holding you back from growing? My husband goes through that all the time. He becomes very, like, he feels like he can't do this, because he gets very paranoid because they need me and they won't be able to do it without me, and he'll go through that bondage energy with his job. So wherever you're feeling imprisoned is not a good thing. Is not a good thing. You don't like, you're responsible for yourself, only for yourself. Stop being a prisoner to anybody, not even your children. You can't even be a prisoner to your children. So, and I see is also, I almost like the cupbearer, almost like I'm gonna get that water flowing Aquarius energy. And you see, like, she's holding this cup, and she's over us. It's almost like she's up here and she's holding that. So, you could connect with her and ask her to share with you insights. Why did she show up? Or to help you with your prosperity, with your romantic life, with your job, whatever it is. Now, the preventing God, propagation of light, confounds the wicked, and slander saves from enemies. I also see him. He is giving you the light. So sometimes you're trying to achieve things, and you don't see the outlet. You don't see where it's like, a lot of times I'm like, Daisy, I can't see. Like, I don't know how I'm going to get out of this. I'm in this dire situation and it's dark, and I can't see my way out of it. It's just overwhelming. So this angel creates the light for you. It creates the light. It creates that, when I talked about the past, present, it creates that road in front of you so you could put everything in the past and so you could move forward. So this is a great angel to help you put everything into perspective, look forward, and release the past. Everything that you're going through, I want you to really address that and look at that. And I repeat this over and over, because everything you're going through is part of a past action. Everything has cause and effect. So it's something that was done in the past that caused a ripple effect into your now radiant moment. And that's all it is. So if you're continuing to give power to that energy, you're just creating more of that energy. And I'm going to share with you something that beautiful Sarah Jordan, and I love, love, love that she did that, because she put herself in her scenario, and this is so true. Jeez, I get a million emails now. I can't find. There she is. Thank God. Okay. She says, in this newsletter, readings are back. So she tells you that her readings are back, which her readings are really good as well. I recommend everybody to get them reading, because we are in the new year. So make sure you get a reading. So she writes, what not to do. She says, I have a story to share about what not to do when you're manifesting. As most of you reading know that I'm currently in a band with my husband, even though for 2 years he told me he did not want to play music with me. I was delusional and knew we were in a band together already. A few months ago it happened in real life, and it was his idea. Now for the part of what not to do. So she scripted her husband adding her to his band. She scripted that. She says 2 years. 2 years it took her to manifest that. Are you grasping? You hear me? 2 years. What not to do. I questioned him up and down. I was like, what the heck? You act like I suck at music for the last 2 years. Then now all of a sudden you act like you want to play with me. So instead of being, oh my God, I manifested, I'm super giddy, ego came in and was like, listen, fucker. What gives you the right now to wait 2 years to act me to your man? And guess what? I pushed him away again. With my dumb criticism, instead of being happy about what I was getting, I wanted to change the past. I wanted him on his knees apologizing. When that didn't happen, I acted like it was not enough. And so I received more, not enough. Everything is energy. Everything is a frequency. And like I tell you, that's like when, because a lot of my stuff comes to prosperity and stuff like, my wealth and my business and creating businesses for my children. And when I Shopify, what did I tell you in the last video? Shopify and working. So sometimes you feel like, okay, well, what's going on? And this is not enough. Or you see this and it trickles a little and you're like, well, that's shit. So you stop doing it. Like I said, one of the things that I did over a year ago now is bringing me income. I stopped focusing on it because I was like, well, this ain't panning out. All of a sudden now it's like, hey, wait, come here. I want you. You do this. So it's like, pay attention, because you never know where it's going to come in from. He said he would play the next show alone. I was crushed. But I realized what I was doing, so I got back to being grateful that he wanted to play with me and go back to my affirmations. And the next day, he wanted to practice our songs together, and we played the show together. She says, over to you. If you are receiving trickles of money, or starting to see signs from your special person, don't tell the universe it's not enough. How many of you guys have dreams with your beloved all the fucking time? One of my biggest, I'll say, hey, I do rituals. I'm saying, hey, you're going to have confirmations. There's going to be dreams. Okay, they're going to feel it tenfold because the ritual is on them. So whatever you're feeling, they're feeling it 10 times more. But what happens is you're a human with a big fat ego and you're like, oh, but it's not happening. But it hasn't happened. But I've been doing this for a year. So then you don't want the person? Everything in life is about patience. Let's go back to the fundamentals. The more we study, the more we put this in our life, the more we practice. Just like I was in bed today. And I didn't want to get up. And I didn't want to create videos because I'm just like, I'm fucking tired. My stomach hurts. I need a detox. Maybe I should just take the day off and tell him it's an off day. And my husband comes in and says, no, baby, come on, you got this. Just do a little bit. You'll feel better. And he was right. I got up. I made me some coffee, which I should buy some decaf because I feel like I'm a little out there, right? And I did feel good. I felt really, really good. And I'm just like, whoa, this is awesome. And I'm going to be able to finish the other couple of things that I have to do. And it feels good. And it's 10:44 at night. And she says, don't tell the universe it's not enough. Be grateful. And that's the energy of Mabon, staying in gratitude. I should have been lighting my candle. But since I don't want to be around my mother-in-law because she's in this, you can imagine, I can't even tell you the stuff that she's saying, the stuff that she's acting, the stuff she's doing. It's overwhelming. I'm not used to that because my house is always this. Even when my husband and I argue, let's say we have a full-blown fight, I'm the type of person that I'll walk away, go to my room and close the door and be like, when you're ready to talk, we'll have a conversation. I do not allow that. I do not allow that. You will never hear screams and shouts, and she's a screamer and she's a shouter and she's always has been, and now it's 20 times worse because she's lost all aspects of reality. Like I was talking, I didn't know it was like, my great aunt had dementia. It was never like that. Her dementia went, so she never got married. We used to joke that she was a virgin. I don't know if she was or she wasn't. She never got married. She dedicated her life to her family. She was very loving and caring, but she complained a lot. And with all her right, she gave up her life for her family. She took care of her mom until her mom passed, took care of all her sisters. She was the breadwinner of the house because her dad, believe it or not, he got leprosy. And he couldn't no longer work and take care of the family. And she used to have to take care of them until the moment that he passed. And he had to stay in a hospital far away. She was, this is 1800s, 1900s. Leprosy was still happening. So long story short, when she got dementia, she created a fantasy that she had a romantic relationship with a celebrity. And I remember my mom got really mad because my mom is a bit of a hater. And I said to my mom, I said to my brother, because she would literally have conversations. She would call him up, have conversations. She knew his mother, and she would tell people, oh, I talked to so and so today. I'm not gonna tell you who it is, but anywho, me and my brother said, you know what's gonna make her ultimately happy? To get, and our cousin, our second cousin was like, and she's older, she's in her 60s as well. She's like, if you guys got like pictures and signed them and created a letter that she could like either read it, or you know, somebody reads it to her, or she could read it herself, this would make her ultimately happy. And I was like, holy fuck. So we went to Office Max and we bought the coolest photo paper, big photo paper, and we printed the sexiest pictures of him, and we then autographed them, and then we created a beautiful letter. And then it wasn't like a romantic thing because he was married and she was aware of that, but what I did was like, oh, you know, I care for you so much, and you're so radiant, and you're so beautiful, and you know, I'm doing so well with my kids, and da 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 da. And she absolutely loved it because she created this fantasy with him, and she was in her 90s, you know. And I remember when she got that, she was so happy. She was so happy that she used to put the manila folder, because we sent in a huge manila folder. We decked it all out. I mean, it was perfect. And we I looked for his signature, and I mean, I probably would get in trouble for forgery. But it was just for her. She was our aunt, so nobody else was going to see it but her. Anywho, she would keep it under her pillow, and she would like, when she would just get up and look at it, she was really into it. So I feel that when you do, you know, like, it wasn't her dementia wasn't like this. It wasn't like dark. It was more like forgetting stuff, or like, you know, her brother, who was like her soul, like she adored him. He was a baby brother. So in that time where she was like not grasping things, he got killed. He got murdered, and he was still young. He was in his 60s, because she was the oldest, and they were like 7 kids, and he was the baby. So she's the oldest of 7, and he's the baby. So she always, like, she took care of him when he was a baby. So he was her baby, even, and he adored her because she was like her mom figure, you know. I mean, because they did have a mom, they shared the mom, but it was like she took care. She was the breadwinner, so it was that connection. And we didn't want to tell her that he got murdered because there was no open casket, because he got shot in the head. It was just a really bad situation, really, really bad situation. And I remember I told my cousin, like, she doesn't remember stuff. So yeah, she keeps asking, and it's true, because he would go to see her every weekend. He was there with Cuban bread and café con leche and a gallon of milk, because she loved her café con leche for the morning. I mean, it was just a beautiful, beautiful relationship. And I was just like, you're gonna have to string her along, because the moment you guys tell her that he's gone, she's gonna lose all interest in life. And that's what happened. Not even 6 months later, she passed away. And I remember when she passed away, she was like really happy, because she didn't feel good, and I knew it. Like, Spirit told me, this is it, this is the last time you're gonna see her. And I remember we were calling the paramedics to come take her, and you know, Spirit's like, say goodbye. I don't do good in hospitals. I'm not a hospital person. So I said my goodbyes to her there, and I said, you're gonna go to the most beautiful place in the world, because your soul is just so radiant. And the paramedics that came were just like drop dead gorgeous. Like, when I tell you that they were gorgeous, like, they could have been at covers on their file. I even told them, I go, you guys have calendars, because you're gorgeous. And one grabbed her on one arm, and the other one grabbed her in the other arm, because she didn't like, she was like very like, you know, I'm fine, I'm in control. So they took her, and that was the last I saw her. My son, my 2 oldest sons, they wanted to be with her in her passing. I didn't want to be there, because I did that with my great grandmother, and I passed out. It was just a horrible to have high blood pressure. So I decided, I'm doing it at home, saying goodbye. I've spent with her my lifetime, and all of these months I was like, me and my son were like her main caretakers. So it was a beautiful experience being with her and being at that time, that stage. And I share this with you guys because life is short. And you know, and I look back and I talk to her now. She shows up all the time asking for coffee in my house, which I think is crazy and funny.
Sometimes you'll be in dreams, like when I don't, because I have like a cocoa altar, and if I don't add, stuff to it, um she'll come, or she'll tell my cousin. She'll be like, my cousin will be like, hey, you haven't made coffee for the old ladies, because I have my great grandmother and my dad's mother, who also passed away, all lived to be in their 90s. My great grandmother died in 98. My grandmother died, she might have been like 97. And my great aunt was the one I'm talking about. She died at 94, 95. And she would have lasted longer if she wouldn't have, if her brother, that wouldn't have happened to him, because she adored him. That was her baby. That was her son. So when I tell you that you need to stop living your life as it's not enough, and the moment you stop living your life as it's not enough, your life will change. And until you grasp that, your life will continue to be patterns. Our lives are full of patterns. And when you live as in everything is wonderful, like right now, I'm missing my grandkids again, because my son's going through stuff, and their mother is, there's no words to describe it. So it's like, okay, what's next? Like I said, I call the angels. I'm like, okay, what's next? How do we do this? How do we fix this? So it's like, you can't melt. You cannot melt. You have to go through the process, make the changes, make the shifts, and co-create. So I want you to sit with these beautiful, beautiful angels, and I want you to ask them the questions that you feel that you need in order to shift to the vibration. Go to the printable, because in the printable I will share how to address them and ask them what you want to ask. We talked about the dreams, so you know how to look for them. And like I said with Sarah Jordan, that's why I love her. You guys should sign up to Sarah Jordan. She is Rich Witch. She has a book, and I bought her journal. I shared her on my YouTube channel, so you're more than welcome to check her out. She's very, very amazing. Her messages, I read you the email. Her messages are stupendous. So connect with these beautiful radiant angels. And something I do is I will hold a card to my heart chakra, because sometimes that's where you hear. And like I showed you, you just breathe and you allow. Because sometimes you could just sit and write. Once you get to that place where you just sit and write what the angels share with you, it's awesome. But you have to get to a place where where your ego is very low. Like right now where I am, and I have my moments. Ego, I hear it as that's so nasty, as a little voice that kind of creeps in, and I'm just like, shh, slow down, ego. I got it. Yep, thanks for sharing. I totally see it. But I have a pact with this situation. I know what I'm capable. I know that this is coming. I know that this is mine. So it's crazy when we have these affirmations that we know that this is awesome, that this is happening for us, that this is the story. I'm this, and this always happens for me, because like the lucky girl syndrome, which I think I'm gonna create a journal for the lucky. I'm excited because I follow a couple of TikTokers, and I think one of them has a lucky girl syndrome journal, so I want to make one with scripting, because I love to script. So take this printable and sit with it. I don't want you to rush through these steps, and I keep repeating that over and over, because I see you guys, and sometimes some of you, not all of you, some of you guys take your time, and I see you going back to other lessons, and that's stupendous. But some of you are just like, what's next, what's next, what's next? And it's not about that. Remember, in order to learn and to expand, you have to take it all in, and sometimes you have to listen over and over and over. I wouldn't be where I am if I didn't listen over and over, and if I didn't have angels all around me. Like I said, that my husband came into the room, it's like, you need to get up and do this, because sometimes we're in a slump, and when we get in those slumps energy, we're like melting, right? So sometimes your angels come through you, through people that are around you and love you, and they'll give you that message that you need at that very precise moment. And always accepting that it's always enough, and that you're grateful for everything. Namaste.